Hello. Called into a few places today. Actually, two places. First one's in the city. Talked about before. It's called Flying Out. F-O. And I've got these two. These are both secondhand. Flying Out is an actual music store. I feel I can repeat myself every time I bring up these shops. It's a primarily record shop, new record shop, but it has a small used section as well, and also a small CD section and an even smaller used CD section. I got these two things here, and it's a pretty reliable shop that you can always find something. I think almost every time I go there, I find at least one pretty good thing. This is something I've owned before, and I still own now, but I don't have the case, which this is going to be an ongoing theme. But this is Mars Volta, deloused in the Comatorium, released in, let's see if I can remember, 2001, I'm going to say. Am I right? 2003, way off. Anyway, 2003. And if you don't know who the Mars Volta are, you probably do, but if you don't, they are Omar Rodriguez Lopez and what's the other guy? Cedric Bixler Zavala, who were the singer and lead guitarist from the band At the Drive-Thru, who I've talked about before. Talked about other side project from that band, Sparta, which was the remaining members. When that band broke up in the early 2000s, these two went off and formed Mars Volta and released some pretty good stuff. This is their debut album, and I think, I'm going to say by far the best album they ever did. Because the problem with the ones that came after this, they were much more spotty. There were some really great songs on the albums that came after. Throughout their entire career, everything they released, it wasn't as though they were terrible albums by any stretch. But this is kind of end to end a brilliant record and really flows together. It's a concept record, loosely a concept record, and it kind of maybe because I've listened to it so much over the years, really connects brilliantly. I bought this when it first came out back in 2003. I've listened to it consistently for the last 22 years. Kind of one of those albums that hasn't left the rotation. I always come back to it. Always kind of a strange album cover. It's the disc. Now, I got this for $3, secondhand. Now, I've talked about this before that, this would be $1 in a charity shop, but the chances of finding this in a charity shop are much more slim, if not, I won't say impossible, but it's, it'd just be a luck of the draw. Whereas I got this from Flying Out, which is a specific music shop. How would you class them? I've seen them described as progressive rock, but I'd say they have a bit more, I don't know what you'd add to it. I don't know what genres you'd put into that. Like they've definitely got prog elements. Some of the songs are quite long. They kind of go off in these long instrumental passages, like more like jamming type things. Like I said, there's a concept element to it. Very high musicianship. In this band at the time, apart from Omar and Cedric, were I think John Theodore was playing the drums, a kind of drummer extraordinaire. He's played with a lot of bands over the years and is just an amazing drummer. I think he's playing with Queens of the Stone Age nowadays. I'm trying to find where it's got the rest of them. Ike Owens was in doing keyboards. Oh, there, Isaiah Owens. Flea was bassist just for the album. John Theodore, I said, was drumming. Omar and Cedric. And then there's Jeremy Michael Ward. He's actually Jim Ward from At the Drive-Thru's brother. So their former bandmate from their former band's brother was working with him in this. And he did kind of like, I think they'd said like sound manipulation or something like that. And he died shortly before this was released. He overdosed, I believe. And there's also this guy down here, inspired by the life and times of Julio Venegas. He's kind of what the concept is based around. I can't really remember. You know, back then, at that age, when you hear it's a concept album, you're really excited because you want to kind of get into it and understand the concept and read into the lyrics and try to kind of form your own ideas. From very vague memories, the concept is the guy overdoses and then he's between life and death, and like the songs are the journey between life and death. And I think he regains consciousness but is paralyzed, or like kind of a vegetable, but he's trapped in his mind, something like that. I might have bits and pieces of that wrong, or completely wrong even. It's, like I said, it's a brilliant album. It's like a journey. It in the best sense, a concept album that it fits and flows together so well. I particularly like Inertiac. I don't know how you even pronounce that. Inertiatic ESP, Roulette Des, Drunk Ship of Lanterns, which is brilliant, Eriataraka, Cicatrix ESP. The first song I ever heard of this, I remember they played it on student radio here back in the early 2000s, This Apparatus Must Be Under Earth, which is kind of like the heaviest song, kind of, I guess, the most, not straightforward, but kind of most rock song, because they definitely still have that alternative rock element to the progginess and the kind of, I don't know what other thing you'd put to it, kind of what elements, jazz, kind of Latin music, very heavily influenced by Latin kind of percussion. Televators is a great song, very beautiful. Serpentaxed is the character that the concept revolves around. You can see it's produced by Rick Rubin and Omar. There's more I could say about this. It's just, if you haven't heard this, I thoroughly recommend it. Kind of one of my favorite albums of the 2000s decade. If I had to make a list of top 20 albums of that decade, from 2000 through to 2009, 2010, I would say this would definitely be on that list for me. The second album I got from the same shop today for $2 is not really an album, it's more of a kind of a compilation by Air. The second album I bought by Air in less than a week, Everybody Hurts, Hertz. So you know that the other day on Friday, I bought 10,000 Hertz Legend from Real Groovy for $2, I think I got it for. Well, this is kind of like a collection of remixes of that album. And I've talked about remixes before, how what are some of the comments I've said about remix albums? Pointless, a waste of time, a waste of money. And saying that, I was actually thinking when I was driving my car, there are some remixes that are great. They're kind of few and far between though, of any band I was saying. One particular, for example, remix that I really like is the song by the Kings of Convenience, The Weight of My Words, and For Tet, or For T-E-T, I'm not sure how you pronounce that artist. Is it For Tet or For T-E-T? He did a remix, or they did a remix of that song, which I think I probably enjoy more than the original. There's other examples as well, like Boards of Canada did a remix of the Slag Boom Van Loon song Poppy Seed, and I much prefer the Boards of Canada remix. Anyway, this is remixes of mixes of certain songs from 10,000 Hertz Legend. So we've got two examples. I've got Don't Be Light. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions. We've got the edit, the Neptunes remix, which I assume is Pharrell Williams and Chad. What's the other Neptune name? Chad something. It's kind of like a Hispanic name. Chad, I can't remember anyway. The Hacker remix, Malibu remix. Anything else in there interesting? No. Well, Mr. Oizo. Don't be like, he does a remix as well. So why did I buy this? Well, because it was $2, and I think I've seen this once or twice in my life for sale over the last 20 years, so it's not kind of thing I came across a lot. Air is a band that I love. I was just saying last week, even though I own 10,000 Hertz, I've owned it previously and I still had the disc, I wanted to have it with the jewel case because they are one of my favorite bands. And when it comes to my favorite bands, there's kind of like a select few. I go out of my way to have the complete set, jewel case, artwork, disc in good condition because it's the band that I love. You know, if it was something that was kind of less important, I wouldn't rebuy it. But yeah, or not that I'm rebuying this, but this is something maybe I wouldn't have bought in the past, but because like I said, I'm kind of on a journey to get every single Air physical release on CD that they've ever put out. Someone kindly put the sticker. This would have been on, I guess, the original kind of cellophane seal around the CD. Someone opened it and they kept this. That's very thoughtful of them, isn't it? The 10,000 Hertz Legend remixes featuring, it is said, also includes a brand new unreleased track and bonus video enhancement. What is the brand new unreleased track? Let's see if I can. The Way That You Look Tonight. Okay, that's the new one. And they've also got a live video of People in the City from the Mayan Theatre in 2001. Where's the Mayan Theatre? That's in LA, maybe? I think I've heard of the Mayan Theatre before. Definitely somewhere in the US, maybe San Francisco, LA. Could be completely wrong. So that was $2. The third thing I got today is kind of what I was just talking about. I saw this. Very familiar to anyone who had a Pink Floyd CDs in the kind of 80s and 90s. A lot of people had this chunky doubled album. So you can see this was originally sold in the United Kingdom because it's got the pounds, 12 pounds. The fight goes on at Music Zone. Don't know what Music Zone is. I assume it's a retail store. I'm pretty sure the copy that I had the track listing on the back, but you can see this was digitally remastered in 1994. Now, oops. I saw this in the shop. This was in the shop just near my house. I popped in on the way home and I opened it. I knew it was not going to, because it was sitting on top of the shelves, and anything's on top of the shelves, you know, someone's already looked at it and has put it up there for some reason. So I was almost 99% sure this was going to be the case. I opened it and thought, yep, that's not Pink Floyd. And that's not Pink Floyd. That is Pink. Is that some kind of cruel joke? I don't know. But I already own the discs, because just like I was saying with Mars Volta and last week with Air, that is one of the albums that I've owned for a long time. And I keep in one of these. It's actually something I've been listening into the car just this past week. There we have disc 2. And hopefully somewhere we have disc 1, which both of these have been in folders for the last 16 years, because it was 2009 when I went through one of the biggest purges to put things into folders. Early 2009. So now it's 2025. So that's 16 years. This has been sitting in a folder. And anytime I wanted to listen to it, I had to take it out. I didn't have the artwork. I didn't have the case. But now, 15 or 16 years later, reunited through the power of secondhand CDs, that I paid $1 for this possibly worthless thing. And for a lot of people, most people, because I have the same experience, a lot of times you think, oh, Pink Floyd The Wall, and you open it in the shop and it's empty. Either someone's donated it empty by accident, or some absolute cretin has stolen the disc from a charity shop, which apparently happens. You know, if they're goddamn $1, who's it going to be anyway? But now, reunited at last, and it feels so good. This is the second time I've done this with a Pink Floyd album. Can you remember, if you're a long-time viewer, which I doubt anyone is, the same thing happened with Wish You Were Here. It was a little bit different. I bought Wish You Were Here, but the case was completely smashed up and there was no liner notes artwork booklet. So it was just the jewel case with no artwork and a smashed, everything else. But it had the disc. So I bought that. And then about 2 years later, I found the Wish You Were Here complete jewel case with complete artwork. But inside it was some other crap, like Saint Germain or something like that. It was, in some ways, that's as satisfying as finding an album that you're really looking for. You know what I mean? So yes, that can now go on the shelf and join my my pretty sizable Pink Floyd collection. What have I got now? I've got Wish You Were Here, Animals, Dark Side of the Moon, 2 or 3 greatest hits collections, Division Bell, Momentary Lapse of Reason, Delicate Sound of Thunder. I think that's it. Well, now The Wall is going to join them. Maybe something else. But anyway, pretty good find. So that's 5 for those 2 and 1 for that, even though it's not a disc, but it's a case. So I spent $6 today for 3 albums. So that's an average of $2 a piece. So let's add that to the list. The 21st, today was a Tuesday. I went to Flying Out and I got the Mars Volta for $3 and Air, Everybody Hurts for $2. Those were from Flying Out. And then I got the Wall jewel case from, it was Salvation Army near my house. Oh God, that's kind of like the sign of madness. I can't keep the same system. $1. So like I said yesterday, I haven't actually uploaded yesterday's one, but eventually I will, and you'll see this when I do. I've kind of drawing to a close. I was planning to go to more today, the central part of the city, or not really the central, what we call the isthmus part of the city. Auckland is built on an isthmus between 2 bodies of water, and there's kind of a central part which I haven't really covered yet, but perhaps tomorrow or the next day I will do so, and then it will all be done. So yeah, not bad, eh? Quite happy with those. All things that I want or wanted. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching.